Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 12, Episode 1. And let me just start off by saying that Jersey is back.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
And for all the newcomers to New Jersey, when I tell you that Jersey has always been a top tier franchise, so you are in for a treat. But with all that being said, let's just jump right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. We start off the premiere episode with Teresa, and she is at her home with her girls, and they're outside by the pool eating some sandwiches. We learn that Teresa's home is on the market and has been on the market for the past 6 months. Now remember that in last season, we saw that Teresa was interested in selling her home and she had found her realtor because she just wanted a fresh start. And we also find out that Teresa and her boyfriend Louis are about to be closing on their brand new home. So she's super pumped, and then she's asking her daughters how they feel about moving in with Louis and being a blended family. So Melania is like, Mom, of course we're okay with it, because if we weren't okay with it, we would not be moving in. So we're excited. And then Gia's like, Mom, I know you love Louis, but you have to admit that you guys are moving a bit too fast. Like, you guys are already moving in together and you guys just met like a year ago. I've always loved how Teresa has open communication with her daughters, and I like that they're allowed to give their input on things. I think that Gia is correct that Mama is moving a bit too fast. I'm not saying that Louis is a bad guy, but I do think that she should have just waited a little bit longer before moving in. I don't know. You just want to make sure that everything is on the up and up before you decide to pull your finances together. People's feelings can change about each other quickly. Longtime New Jersey watchers know how Teresa is going in one ear and out the other. She's like, yeah, I hear you, babe, but this is my soulmate, so I'm not trying to hear all that. Like, yes, we're moving kind of fast, but we're in love and everything is going to work out. So Teresa brings up how she wants to have a kickoff to the summer party and she wants everybody to attend. So now Gia brings up how she's still angry at her uncle, and she's like, I just don't appreciate what he was saying about our father all last year. So now Teresa says that she's made peace with her brother, but she's upset because her daughters are still upset with him. Joe Gorga made it clear that he found his ex-brother-in-law to be a terrible husband, a terrible person, a womanizer, just a terrible guy for Teresa. And he's made it very known publicly in multiple reunions that he wanted better for his sister. Now, Joe Gorga told no lies because you could see that Joe Guidice was not into his marriage with Teresa. He was over there cheating. The way he talked to her was very nasty, very rude. He did not talk to her like a husband who respects his wife would talk, okay? He was very disrespectful. So I definitely understand why Joe Gorga felt the way he felt, because he felt like his sister deserved better, and she did deserve better. Now, on the flip side, I also see why Teresa's daughters are upset, because at the end of the day, whatever's going on between Teresa and their father, that is still their dad. So of course, their relationship is going to be a lot different than Teresa's relationship with their dad. I see both sides in this situation, but I also feel like Joe Gorga also has the right to say how he feels about how his sister was treated in her marriage. And the daughters do forget that her uncle, her mom, and their aunt are all on this show together, and it's centered around them and not the children. So unfortunately, they're going to hear some things that they might not want to hear. I will say, going forward, Joe and Melissa should just cease all conversation about their niece's father. Just don't even say anything, okay? Because obviously it's creating a lot of tension in their family. So now we move on to a short scene with Dolores. And with Dolores, I feel like her storyline has been the same for the past 6-7 seasons, and I'm tired. Dolores is still renovating this house. I was like, baby, you were renovating this house in season 8. We're season 12. Like, you're still renovating? So we find out that her ex-husband, Frank, was supposed to have finished the renovations like 9 months ago, and things still look the same because he is in the Jersey Shore with his new girlfriend who's younger with some big flotation devices, as she put it. So she and her kids FaceTime Frank Sr. and she's like, okay, so when are you coming back to finish renovating this house because I'm tired? So Frank is making excuses, talking about he has to rehearse for his show. And if you guys didn't know, all the husbands on Jersey have been doing this little comedy routine. I know they had a show in Vegas at Caesar's Palace a few months ago. They've been all over Atlantic City. They've just been everywhere. And also, I think Joe Gorga was at Caroline's here in New York a few months ago, too. So they're doing that whole thing. And I was like, Frank, you are nobody's comedian. You need to come back and finish your ex-wife's house like you promised. I don't know if it's just me because I'm super petty, but there is no way in hell that an ex-husband who was awful to me would be getting clout off of my platform. That would not be happening. If I were Dolores, Frank would not be on this show. I wouldn't even be saying his name. Anytime he was around, I would have production blur his face out. There would be no way that a cheating ex-husband of mine would be making $1 off of me. I said Dolores is a lot nicer than I am because ain't no way.
No.
So, child, now we see that there's some drama with Teresa's boyfriend. Baby, some video has dropped about Louis, and all the ladies are texting each other about it. Like, have you seen this? Are you going to tell Teresa? Do you think that she knows about this? Like, oh my gosh, it's a mess.
You gotta talk from the heart. You go back to your fucking brain. She doesn't want to fucking hear your brain.
I love you. I'm sorry I made mistakes and held myself back and held my truth inside.
You better fucking
and
feel her pain.
worried about other people around me.
Feel her
acknowledgement.
Pain.
I feel your pain. I'm sorry I put you through pain. Thank you for being patient with me and seeing the man that I didn't see that you see and you saw in me.
What are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna come home and show you and prove to you the man, the best version of myself that I am right now.
She heard that before. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take action as soon as I get home.
You're saying beautiful words. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to propose to you and get married, if that's okay with you. I love you.
So since some mysterious video of Louis has dropped, we move on to Margaret, and she's at home. I have to say that Joe did a great job renovating their house, because when I tell you that Margaret's home was under construction for what it felt like years, but her house is finally done, it looks pretty, and we see that Jackie is over. So they're making small talk. Jackie is talking about how she's excited because her kids are going to sleepaway camp for the summer, and she's finally going to have some alone time with her husband, Evan. And if you've seen Evan, you'd be excited too because he's cute. So now Jackie brings up the video with Louis, and she's like, do you think that anybody's going to bring it up at the party? And Margaret's like, girl, I don't know, but I will say that it did not look too good with Louis in that video. Then Margaret brings up the allegations that have been surrounding Louis, and we see the headlines pop up on the screen about how Louis has had a very interesting past when it comes to women. It just seems like a lot of people have some reservations about Louis. Again, I know that Teresa is in love. I know that they're engaged now. Congratulations. But I think that she should just, slow it down, take her time, really get to know this man before she says, I do. I always feel like women, especially in the public eye, wealthy women, always need to take it slow when getting to know somebody. I just feel like a lot of men can be opportunists as well. And they can also look at women as, I'm just saying, it happens a lot, unfortunately. And I just think that Teresa does have a lot to lose. She needs to take her time and just make sure that Louis is who he says that he is. Like I said, you can never be too careful, especially being a woman of means, power, notoriety. You just never know what somebody's true intentions are. Jackie goes on to say that there's something unsettling about him, and she hopes that one of her close friends says something about this video to Teresa, but she's not going to be the one to do it because she and Teresa were at odds all last season, and she is not trying to make Teresa an enemy, so she will not be saying anything. So now Margaret brings up Jennifer, and she's like, have you talked to her? Have you heard from her? You know, me and her just don't get along. She has said and done some really nasty things. So Jackie's like, yeah, I haven't heard from her either. And then they both say that Jennifer is unhappy. And then Jackie goes on to say that Jennifer is all smoke and mirrors. And Margaret jokes and says, and also foggy diamonds. So we're going to talk about Jennifer shortly, but I do agree with their assessment when it comes to Jennifer. She does seem to be unhappy. She always seems like she's overcompensating for something. And I feel like with Jennifer, she was never the cool girl. And because of that, she has a lot of insecurities. But again, more on Jennifer later because there's a lot to unpack there. But we move on to Melissa and Joe, and they're having a date night with Tracy Johnson and Tiki Barber. And baby, the minute they popped up on my screen, I immediately burst out laughing because I remember all the drama that went down with Tiki Barber and his first wife. A mess. Oh, and a quick side note, Tracy is going to be, I think, the newest friend of the show, or I think full-time housewife. But I do know that we have some new faces coming to Jersey. So Tracy and Tiki are asking Joe and Melissa what's new. And Melissa's like, yeah, you know, we bought a new house. And right now we're in a rental because our house is being renovated. And then they bring up that Teresa and her boyfriend Louis are moving into their old neighborhood. So now Tracy brings up Teresa and how she likes Teresa a lot and how she's been invited to Teresa's kickoff to the summer party and she's excited to attend. So while they're talking about Teresa and Louis' relationship, Joe Gorga is rolling his eyes and he's being super shady. And now Tiki is asking Joe, why is he making all those faces? So Joe's like, you know, it's nothing. You know, if she's in love, that's great. If she likes it, I love it. Like, you know, it's just fine. But they keep pressing him like, Joe, obviously you feel some type of way about her boyfriend. Like, what's tea? So Joe says, look, when I first met Louis, I liked him. But now I'm hearing all these rumors and all this craziness surrounding him. And I have a side eye. Like, I'm just not so sure because we all thought that her first husband was good to her. And you see how that turned out. So now Tracy's like, well, you know, you can't go off of rumors because we all know that me and Tiki dealt with a lot of that too. Like there were rumors about us when we got together. I'm like, girl, please. Because the way y'all got together was a hot mess from day one and you know it. So a quick backstory about Tiki Barber and the whole mess that surrounded this union. Tiki was married to his first wife, Jenny, for 11 years. They have 4 children together. But when he divorced Jenny, she was pregnant, okay? Now, mind you, Tracy was a 24-year-old intern working for the Today Show. Tiki claimed that he and his then-wife, Jenny, were already separated in the process of getting a divorce when he met Tracy. Yeah, so I guess, you know, they would have sympathy for rumors swirling around about Louis and Teresa because they know what it's like firsthand. Then Joe goes on to say that it just seems like whenever he speaks his mind, Teresa's always mad at him because when he spoke his mind about her first husband, she was upset. And it's like he's just going to keep his mouth shut going forward. So now Tiki's like, why do you think that your sister doesn't trust you? And he says, I don't know. And like I've said before, I feel like Teresa and her brother are never going to find peace with each other. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like ever since Joe married Melissa, their relationship has never been the same. We move on to Jen. She's at home having a nice family dinner, and we can see that she has gotten some more surgery because we see the nose bandages all over, and she says that she has always wanted a nose job. So when she was in Turkey for her nephew's christening, she went and got her nose done there. She goes on to say that the reason why she went to a surgeon in Turkey and not to her husband was because when he did her BBL, he was complaining that she was the worst patient ever. So she said, you know what? If I ever get surgery again, I'm going to go somewhere else. We also find out that Jen has been in a really bad place with her mom for the past year, but they finally saw each other in Turkey and they gave each other a big hug and they've made up. Now, in my opinion, I always felt like Jen was super dismissive of her mom's pain. Her mom made it very clear that Jennifer's dad was awful to her while they were married for 48 years. And the fact that Jen just seemed to be so cold, like, okay, I mean, you know, girl, like, you chose to stay with him. Like, you know, it is what it is. Just be happy, let it go. And it was like, your mom is in pain. And the fact that Jen seemed to not care about it, I could definitely understand why her mom didn't want to speak to her for a year. I don't know. I just feel like Jen is very vapid, very self-centered, and if it's not all about her, she can't seem to care about anybody else. Because I don't understand how you can't empathize with your mom who's telling you that she wished that she never got married and that she feels like her life was kind of taken away from her since she was married at 16 years old to a man who was like 30 at the time and didn't even treat her well. Like, that's very sad. And the fact that Jen can't seem to grasp that her mom has every right to be upset about that, that makes no sense to me. So now the dinner's over and we just see Bill and Jen in the kitchen talking to each other. And Jen is saying that she's trying to make amends with all the ladies, but it's hard. And she's just upset because she feels like she's being left out. She's like, Bill, Margaret had a pride party and invited everybody else except me. Like, that really hurt. And so Bill's like, well, I have to say, babe, I'm not really surprised that you're on the outs with all them because you did go in on Melissa's husband, Joe, and you calling him crooked didn't help things. But while Jen is on the outs with everybody else, she is happy to be good friends with Teresa, and she says that her and Bill are always having double dates with Teresa and Louis. And again, we all know that Jen craves to be in the presence of who she deems are the queen bees, and since Teresa is that girl of this franchise, she's never going to jeopardize her friendship with Teresa. Like, that's not happening. Before we move on, can I just quickly say that it just seems like every season, Jen is always getting some sort of procedure done. And this is no shade because I am all for plastic surgery. Like, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's fabulous. If you have the money, like, go and make yourself happy, knock yourself out. However, I just feel like she's becoming obsessed with cosmetic surgery because one season she had the BBL, then she got her boobs done, now the nose. Now, I was really surprised about her saying she always wanted her nose done because I could have sworn a few seasons ago that she had already gotten her nose done. So I was like, wait, this is your first time getting your nose done? Like, really? Are you sure, sis? I don't know. I just feel like every season, Jen is always getting something new done. And if we're being honest, I have always felt like Jen has been in a secret competition with Melissa. I feel like she wants to look like Melissa, and she's trying to slowly morph herself into a Melissa Jr. Only because it just seems like from day one, she has always had it out for Melissa. She always talks about how vain Melissa is and how Melissa thinks that she's all that. Like, really weird comments like that that have always given me jealousy vibes, very insecure, and her getting work done every season, it's just giving me very much I'm trying to be like Melissa. I don't know, I could be wrong, but let me know how you guys feel down in the comments. But I've just always gotten those weird vibes from her. So now we flip to a short scene with Melissa and Joe at their rental. and Joe is outside on the phone and he looks super stressed out. So Melissa comes outside and she's like, Joe, what's wrong? You look super stressed. Like, what happened? And we find out that Teresa told him that Louis is upset about the comments that he made in his comedy show when they were in Atlantic City. So Joe's like, I don't know why he took it so seriously, because I was just joking around. Like, I was just trying to be funny. That's all it was. So now Melissa says, babe, everybody knows how sensitive Louis is, so this really shouldn't come as a surprise that he's upset. So Joe is really annoyed. He's just over it. He's like, the girls are mad at me. Teresa's mad at me. Louis is mad at me. Like, I really don't need this. I'm just tired. I'm tired of everybody being mad at me. So you know what? I'm not going to go to Teresa's pool party. I'm over it. I get how Joe feels, because it's no fun going somewhere where you know that people are mad at you and they don't want you to be there and an argument might break out. It's like, you know what? I might as well just stay home or do something else on that day, because I'm not going to set myself up for failure. So now we get to the big day of Teresa's pool party. Teresa's setting up. She has the food all out. She has the bartender there. And Dolores is the first guest to arrive. You can tell that Teresa seems kind of nervous. And Dolores kind of spots it as well. And she's like, it's the pink elephant in the room. And if everybody knows what's good for them, they'll just keep quiet and not bring it up. Then we see Margaret and her husband Joe arrive. And we can already tell that Margaret is just itching to say something because she just can't help herself. And while I like Margaret a lot, Margaret can be very messy. And she is always trying to stir the pot and bring something up at the worst time. I'm like, girl, just have a good time. Get a drink from the bar. Mingle. But like, stop trying to always bring up some drama at somebody else's event. Now we see Melissa and Joe arrive. Jackie and Evan arrive, and Tiki and Tracy arrive. And did y'all peep when Joe said hello to his niece, Gia? Like, she was super dry, like, oh, hi, you know, hey, how's it going? And that used to be her favorite uncle. So to see the shift in their relationship now, just a mess. So we see Margaret bring up the video to Jackie. And again, I'm like, Margaret, this is not the time or the place for that. I just don't understand why you are just chomping at the bit to bring this up. Honestly, the real reason why Margaret likes to stir stuff up is because she doesn't have a storyline of her own. So, child, Dolores pulls Teresa to the side and she's like, Teresa, I just have to get this off of my chest, but I want to tell you what your brother said about Louis when we were in Atlantic City. So she tells Teresa what was said, and Teresa starts playing dumb. She's like, oh, he said that? Like, that's just so cute. Like, I like it. So Dolores is like, girl, what? And then Teresa says in her confessional that it's just easier to play dumb because she doesn't want to feed the negativity. So now Louis arrives to the party, and his vibe, in my opinion, just seemed off. He just looks really sneaky to me. I can see why Joe has a bit of reservations when it comes to Teresa getting involved with him. You can feel the tense energy between Louis and Joe Gorga. They gave each other a very cordial, a very polite hello, but that was it. Now Margaret walks over to Teresa and she's like, you know what, Teresa? I just have to say this, but Louis has to explain himself about that video. So Teresa says, look, Louis does not have to explain himself to anybody. I have a past, he has a past, we've talked about it, and we're fine. And I'm gonna need you to respect me in my own home. So please stop bringing this up. Now, Margaret, I thought that you were out of line to approach Teresa in that manner. And then to say that in the middle of Teresa's party at her home, like, girl, who are you? Margaret's cool and all, but I'm getting tired of her antics, and I also feel like she's a bit too thirsty to stay on this show. So Jen and Bill finally arrive, and all the ladies are making fun of Jen because of her nose job. Jackie's like, her new nose looks terrible. Now, may I just say, Jen came into that party looking like Cindy Lou Who with that nose. That nose was like, whoop. So all the ladies except for Teresa are giving Jen the cold shoulder. And then Jen pulls Teresa to the side and she's like, they're all so mean to me. Like they all just ignored me. So now Teresa pulls Jackie to the side and she's like, Jackie, can you come here and talk to Jen? And so now Jen and Jackie start talking and then Jen starts crying and she's like, look, I'm friends with Dolores and Teresa, but they don't stick by my side the way you do. So now she's crying and Jackie's like, don't cry. I'll be your friend. Like, we're good. It's all forgiven. It's all forgotten. Like, we're fine. So you already know that Miss Nosy Margaret is watching this whole entire exchange between Jackie and Jen. So now Margaret walks over and her and Jen start going at it. So Margaret's like, look, you said some really nasty things about me. Like, I don't appreciate that. And that's why I'm going to ignore you. So now Jen's like, but Margaret, you said nasty things about me too. So it was tit for tat. So Margaret says, no, it's not tit for tat because Jen, you never know when to stop. Like, you always take it to the extreme, and you calling me a snake, that wasn't cool. So then Margaret says, you know what, Jen? The real issue is that you're a very unhappy woman. So now Jen's like, girl, what are you talking about? I wake up every day to super blessed and super thankful that I have a husband who lets me do what I want financially. So Margaret is getting annoyed because she has always felt that Jen was very showy, very flashy, very tacky, and always talking about her money. So Margaret's like, it's not about the money, Jen. Like, it's about more than that. Then Margaret says, and also, your husband's only doing that to make up for the lifetime of mistakes that he's made. So Margaret and Jen are going back and forth. Jen is saying that Margaret's jealous of her, and Margaret's like, girl, please. So now Teresa walks over. She's trying to diffuse the situation because now everybody at the party has stopped what they're doing to watch Margaret and Jen go at it. Then all of a sudden, Margaret decides that she wants to choose violence. So she reveals that she knows that Bill had an affair on Jennifer. She's like, and that's why your husband cheated on you with the office manager and he had to leave and go somewhere else. So now Jen's like, well, she wasn't the office manager, idiot. She was actually the pharmaceutical rep. I said, Jen, that's not the read that you think it is. I don't care if he cheated on you with the pharmaceutical rep, the receptionist, another nurse, a doctor. The fact that your husband stepped out of your marriage, absolutely not. I was like, Margaret said that she was going to come in hot because the fact that she would drop some tea like that in the first episode, I was like, okay, messy Margaret said she is going to work for every single Bravo check this season. Now, I don't care too much for Jen. I find her to be very irritating, aggravating, and also very obnoxious. The constant bragging. I'm like, for all of y'all who can't stand Heather, I think that Jen is the one that y'all need to be talking about. That woman brags. With all that being said, I did find myself feeling kind of sorry for Jen in that moment because I know she was not expecting for that secret to be revealed at this pool party. And I was watching that People magazine interview that she did, and she said that she was in shock when Margaret revealed it. Because she said that she had kept that secret from everybody. Like, she didn't even tell her family that Bill had cheated. So when Margaret revealed it, she was like, well, damn. But when it comes to Jen and Margaret having this long-standing beef, I feel like Margaret's one of those people where you need to know who you're in a fight with. Because Margaret will stop at nothing to find something to expose you with. And now, since she found out this news about Bill stepping out on Jen, I just know that she is just so happy. Like, I got you, bitch. Like, I pulled your card. You thought you were going to call me and my mom all sorts of sluts and cheaters. Well, now I got you. So how do you like it now? And there are a few blogs saying that Jen is trying to talk about this affair to cover up an alleged current affair that's going on now. So I said, look, I don't know that to be a fact. I wouldn't be surprised because my whole thing is once a cheater, always a cheater. But child, we shall see. But guys, Jersey is really that girl, and I hope that you guys are tuned in because we are in for a very good and explosive season. But y'all, that was my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.